Welcome to beautiful Lacoste France. A fascinating medieval village, Lacoste's majestic setting is now SCAD's European home. And along the ancient pathways, students and guests find SCAD alumni busy at work in their atelier caves. Experience a historic recreation of Provençal life at Retour 1856 and enjoy exhibits at SCAD FASH, our Museum of Fashion and Film. It's here that we find artist Ruben Toledo putting finishing touches on the beautiful mural he's completing as part of the exhibit honoring his late wife Isabel, aptly called Isabel Toledo, a love letter. Curated in close collaboration with Ruben, A Love Letter is the first posthumous exhibition of Cuban-born Isabel's work, and an homage to the emotional power inherent in her garments, as well as the couple's romantic 40-year career together. A Love Letter features a selection of Isabel's garments exemplifying her remarkable expertise in technique, textiles, silhouette, and color, complemented by an installation of paintings by Ruben. Just after the opening, I sat down with Ruben to discuss his vision for our exhibit honoring his beloved wife. So how did you decide to put the black and white on the first floor and then the color?
The color on the, it was almost a natural progression because Isabel was very like that about clothing. She was there was a part of her who loved to, like she said, the wallflowers. She liked to be elegant but disappear when she didn't want to be in bloom.
You and Isabel have been such wonderful friends of SCAD through the years, and it's meaningful to us to honor her with this exhibit.
Thank you for that. Yeah, you know, we feel that you're family to us too. The whole SCAD team is family, and the student body is family. We've actually kept in touch with quite a few of them that we met back in 2009. And having been introduced to SCAD with André Talley was incredible, who's an old friend of ours too that went back to the 80s. So it was really like a beautiful family connection. Being a part of SCAD and talking to the students and sharing her way of design and her way of pattern making and her way of draping and just the very poetic essence she had, that's a joy for me to share that with your students. You know what? You gotta feel it. If you don't feel it, don't do it. It's true what you're saying. You can't fake that kind of thing. You have to feel it. And hopefully I plant more Isabel seeds into the Lacoste student body.
It's very aspirational for the students and just very inspirational. I think that this international stage is kind of perfect for her because people will come through this little village, right. Thousands and thousands of people from all over the world.
Right.
So they will see and appreciate her.
I've noticed that already, just being here these few days, the people who walk up and down the hills, the visitors, the guests to this town are from everywhere.
Yes.
It's pretty phenomenal who comes through here. So I love that maybe a whole new audience would be introduced to Isabel. You know, Isabel was rare. She was a fashion connoisseur's delight, right? And then when the Michelle Obama incredible inauguration moment happened, people heard her name for the first time.
Michelle Obama is officially the new First Lady of Fashion.
When it comes to international stages, one of the grandest for fashion designers is the inauguration platform. We've all seen the First Lady's beautiful lemongrass dress and coat ensemble. And I was eager to hear Ruben's take on how it came to pass. So you first knew when you saw it on television, or how did you first find out?
That was absolutely true because we had a hint that she might wear something of Isabel's that day. A beautiful black and white silk crepe dress that she later ended up wearing to meet the Queen of England. Isabel called it the tuxedo dress. And when the day started, people started to call me immediately, first thing in the morning, is she wearing Isabel Toledo? And they said, well, it's kind of golden, yellow, mustardy green. And I was like, no, that's not black and white. That's not, oh, I'm sorry, no, that's not ours. So I said it wasn't ours, not having seen it. Finally, I saw it, and it took a while for me to grasp the reality. It's like, my God, she's wearing Isabel. It was like the fact that two Cuban immigrants, two refugees came over from Cuba and without any support or any backing of any type.
Well, your whole story is a miracle.
I have to say it is. But the fact that we were able to achieve that moment and dress the First Lady of the United States, where can that happen?
Where can that happen? The SCAD FASH exhibition includes several patterns Ruben created for Isabel's designs. His interpretations of her vision transformed into geometric shapes that she then fashioned into masterpieces.
She always says she was inspired by my gestural ink drawings. That's one step. Then I would see what she would be inspired in her dress, and that would inspire me again to make these graphic shapes, because again, it always blew my mind that she thought, in her mind, she instantly saw these puzzle pieces fitting together. And there you would go, right?
And very few people can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
To imagine and think in the abstract three-dimensionally.
Right.
So
True.
it's required for interior design too, that you walk into a space and then all of a sudden you imagine it as something else that it could be.
Right.
But it's very complex. It's a very higher order of thinking. And, she did it so beautifully.
I mean, that's the rock wave dress. That's all it takes. It's these pieces. But look at the repetition of that. They look like little aliens, space aliens, and they make that dress happen. So
And
that always
who
blew
would
my
know?
mind.
Yes, who would know?
So I also do pattern paintings based on her patterns, because to me they really are graphic, modern art shapes, you know? And she loved that.
I like rock wave. What's the reason for that name of that
Sometimes
beautiful kind of aubergine?
Sometimes the names were poetic gestures, and other times they really were kind of the way she thought of them, because the rock wave is, for her, it looked the formation of a solid rock. But the fact that it's made of taffeta, the dress barely weighs anything. It's so light. She was very good at dressing emotion. She said sometimes you want to feel solid and you want people to part for you. And other times you want to like squeeze it into a little shape. So she loved that kind of the use of clothes in that way.
As part of the exhibition, SCAD produced Isabel Toledo, Echoes and Vibrations, a film about Isabel and Ruben's couture creations. The film includes a rare glimpse into their early days as artists in New York, as well as archival footage of their visits to SCAD, plus recent interviews with Ruben.
We really did grow like two vines around each other. There was a constant dialogue between Isabel and I. She made these shapes in her brain. She described them to me. I tried to sketch down the idea of what she was thinking about.
When he draws, I always say that it's his heart and his hand at work. He doesn't process. It doesn't go through his mind. He really does connect heart and hand.
Our mutual friend André Talley introduced us many years ago, and here's what he had to say. They're two of the most glamorous people I can say are friends. I want to be like them when I grow up. Ruben is impeccable, not only in his clothes,
but his authority, his confidence, his humor, and his deeply rooted sense of good. Isabel makes his suits. So lucky.
And let me tell you, if Fred Astaire and Clark Gable were around, they'd be running up to Isabel for custom order Isabel Toledo suits.
Very true.
They are also full of optimism, joy, and possess an art de vivre that is as monumental as a Rothschild couple, as hilarious as Ricky and Lucy Ricardo.
What a compliment, what a real compliment. But that's what we loved about André. He was so majestic and so much authority. I think the fact that he trained with Mrs. Vreeland, and so did Isabel. They both came out of the Met, and they understood that elegance was a way of being that went beyond the clothes. They answered to a higher calling.
In an email to me, André called you the Cuban Cary Grant. Cary Grant should be so lucky.
No.
Thank you for being here with me today, Ruben. This has been amazing.
Thank you, my honor, and thank you for inviting us and hosting us. Thank you for honoring my Isabel's talent. Her beautiful essence and celebrating that. I love that SCAD recognizes that that is a big part of communicating and a big part of design and of art and in fashion, is that essence that we can't put a name on it, but you SCAD, you Paula, recognize that and you honor that, and that's a big plus that your students know that exists.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes, thank you.